I think the most desirable engine is the one that, well, gets you home every day. And this is quick. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're reviewing a base model Bronco with the Sasquatch package. First and foremost, though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garf Hyundai here in Utah for giving me some time with this Bronco. This one is available for sale for the time being. I'm going to include a link to their inventory if you are interested in the description down below. Man, that was pretty dicey. Anyways, as always, also I'm going to include a link to my carbine guide in the description down below as well. Let's just get right into the review. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.3 liter four-cylinder that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy with this powertrain is 18 around town and then 17 on the highway with the Sasquatch package. Power outputs 300 horsepower and then 325 pound-feet of torque. Axle ratio 4.7. Now let's go over the front end of the base model Bronco. So first off, you have these little things right here that actually help you see the edge of the Bronco when you do take it off-road. Notice we've got the cool little hoop here at the top, and then the Bronco logo has actually been blacked out. And then you've got the standard LED headlamps here, and then you guys can see with the bumper, this has the off-road bumper, and yeah, that thing can take an impact off-road. Got the tow hooks there on the front end, and then you guys can also see the Bilstein position-sensitive shocks through the bumper, and, well, there's the front end. So popping around the side here, we've got 17-inch wheels, and wrapped around that we have 35s in the front and in the rear as well. You guys can see that this has the beadlock capable wheels, and here's a quick look at the front suspension. Now this does have independent front suspension just like every other Bronco. You guys can see here with the gigantic fender flare you get with the Sasquatch package. And then notice that the mirrors and the door handle and the top all match in coloration, so it all is uniform. And then just like other Bronco, well, unlike other Bronco models, this one has like an off-road like side step / rock rail setup. It's really cool actually. But anyways, you guys can see solid rear axle, and then we've got the Bilstein position sensitive shocks here in the rear. Here's our key fob. Notice we've got the Bronco logo there on the back. We have our unlock function, our lock function, and then not a whole lot else because, again, it's a base model Bronco. But anyways, popping inside here, we just got to open this up. You guys can see it's got like the double compression point, so it makes it so it's easy to open it up even though it has a 35, which is massive. And then you've got the top that opens up here. And yeah, this is the two-door, so it doesn't have a ton of storage space here in the back, but overall it's actually pretty solid. And then you just gotta press that, or I shouldn't say press, but push that, and then close it up. Now finishing things up with the rest of the rear, you guys can see we've got the baseline taillights, and then again you got that spare 35 here on the back end. We've got the recovery hook down below, and well, that's all for the rest of the rear. Now here's the front door panel. You guys can see here with the padding. I love the gray coloration here. And then we've got the quote-unquote base model seats. So you can see here with the gray coloration, they are manually adjustable. And then I'm just going to throw that a little bit forward so I can grab the latch there. Now as for the second row, similar to like a two-door Wrangler, it's actually got a decent, well, a ton of headroom and a decent amount of legroom there on the back. It's just not the easiest to get back there because you got to like slide the seat forward and everything. It doesn't have its own door because, again, two-door life. But look at the windows and everything, looks so cool. And when you're all done, you can just, well, latch that back into place. And, well, with that being said, I guess I should show you guys, we got the light controls here, got the little grab handle, and now let's pop in. Now here's the steering wheel for the base model Bronco. Pretty basic, right, from a materials standpoint, hence the fact it's base model Bronco. But anyways, controls for the center stack, we do have cruise control, volume controls, we have our turn signal, windshield wiper stock, and yeah, there's a steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster. You guys can see you got the speed on the one side, and then you have that screen there in the center of the gauge cluster, which you can basically scroll through some different menus. You guys can see what we have the tire pressure set at right now. But really cool, and it's just like all of the other Broncos, so you don't really benefit by going up to a higher up package in terms of the gauge cluster setup. Now since this is a Sasquatch, you guys can see we have a front locker, a rear locker, trail turn assist, stability control, and then we got hazard lights. The only thing this is missing is the stabilizer bar disconnect. So you have all the off-road tech. And then popping down to the infotainment system, you guys can see I got the backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel, and then you got the zoom function. as well. And response time on the screen is fantastic. As you guys can see, you've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto with it. And other than that, well, it's a screen. So down below, we've got our radio controls right here. We've got our single zone climate control. You get a little charging area right here. And then we have the shifter for that 10-speed automatic transmission. Got a couple of cup holders right here. Oh, that says Ford, and it looks like a little Bronco face. And then we have our drive line select and our drive mode select. Notice we also have offered cruise control. So we've got 2-wheel high, 4-wheel low, 4-wheel auto. And then as for the drive modes, those will pop up here. So we have our normal, eco, sport, slippery, and then we have our sand mode to go through. And then you guys can see window controls right here, and then that's with the mirror adjustments. And then you can see here at the center console. And then pretty normal glove box, nothing fancy happening there. Notice it says Bronco right there. And then we have, well, 6 auxiliary switches, just like the Raptor. And of course it doesn't show up on camera. There you go. There's your 6 auxiliary switches. And they got the insulation here for the top, so this is very nicely appointed. Now, quick disclaimer before I show the window sticker price, that does not reflect current market values on Broncos. Everyone knows that Broncos are all going over MSRP. That's just what people are willing to pay for them. But anyways, let's look at the window sticker and dream. But here's the standard equipment, as you guys can see. And then you guys can see this is a 101A equipment group. And again, we've got the Sasquatch package. And notice here, base price for a base Bronco, $31,000. And then after all options, this one originally stickered for $41,100. Let's see how it drives. I'll talk about visibility before we set off here. Here's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, and throughout the rest of the rear, which is really good in a 2-door. Let's set off. So, setting off here in the base model Bronco, and this is, well, the second base model Bronco that I have reviewed, and this is the first base model Bronco Sasquatch that I have reviewed. I don't believe I didn't drive the first base model Bronco that I reviewed because that one was getting picked up by the owner, and I had like 10 minutes with it. So this is awesome, finally being able to, well, I guess drive a base model Bronco in its coolest format, which is the Sasquatch package. And I think this is what most people were excited about when the new Bronco came out, is because frankly this is affordable. I mean, from an MSRP perspective, this is less expensive than the average price of a brand new car in today's world, which is about $47,000 as of today, which is just crazy. It keeps going up every single day. And here's the deal. This drives just like every other Bronco Sasquatch that I have driven to date, because you got those Bilstein position sensitive shocks. And so the thing that's great about them and the independent front suspension with the Bronco is it leads to really solid handling, basically. So like the independent suspension is very direct, and then those shocks are pretty stiff, and so it leads to really good turn-in. Wow, this thing's got some pep in its step. Guess we'll pop it into the sport mode there. I love the animation with it. Puts it into 4-wheel auto for sport so that it can put down the power. And I'm a huge fan of the 2.3 4-cylinder. And apparently the 2.7's been having some reliability issues, and so it sounds like the 2.3 might be the powertrain option to go for from a reliability standpoint, which yeah, it's kind of interesting because that's obviously technically the more desirable engine, but I think the most desirable engine is the one that, well, gets you home every day. And this is quick. Between the 4.7 axle ratio and the turbos and everything, it moves these 35s at, I mean, again, we're at 4,500 feet elevation here. It is just boom. And I love that you can hear the blow off. Does a little blow off sound. It's cool. But yeah, and this is really comfortable too. You guys know I own a Jeep Wrangler, and things that I like about the Bronco over the Wrangler is it's definitely more daily drivable compared to the Wrangler. Like, this feels like an actual vehicle, if that makes sense. The Wrangler really does feel like a toy. Now this has obviously all of the fun toy stuff that the Wrangler has. It can go off-road, you can take the top off, you can take the doors off, but like on a day-to-day commute aspect, it just feels like a more substantial vehicle, if that makes sense. They're both loud inside, and you know, they, again, ultimately you can take off half of the vehicles, but between the Bilstein shocks and the independent front suspension, it helps out quite a bit with just making this, as car journalists call it, more refined. So I guess let's sum things up here with this base model Bronco Sasquatch. So first off, it looks amazing. I think that goes without saying. Any Bronco Sasquatch I am a fan of. 35s are just awesome. I love how this has off-road tech. That's something that I think Jeep has failed at, is giving off-road tech to lower down packages. Because like, if you want to get lockers like this, you have to get a Rubicon. But with the Bronco, you get the Sasquatch package, you get lockers. Now you don't get the stabilizer bar disconnect. You have to get the Badlands to get that, or if you were lucky enough to get a first edition, that also has it, and then the new Bronco Raptor. But those are all very expensive packages. And you know, honestly, like most off-roading, it's nice to have something like a stabilizer bar disconnect, but it's not necessarily necessary. Lockers will get you really far. And so yeah, I think this is an amazing vehicle. And yeah, obviously all Broncos are going for over MSRP, but even with where these base model Broncos are sitting with the current market adjustment, with what people are paying for them, it's still a really good value because it's still less expensive than what you're going to pay for a Wrangler Rubicon with 35s versus 33s. And so honestly, like, I know this is going to sound bad on my part, but like, if I was in the market for a base model Bronco, which I'm not, but if I was, then like, with where these are sitting from a price point perspective, frankly I would just pay it, because I know that the money's still going to be there in the future. It's not like these are going to instantly plummet in value. People are so hyped about these, and so yeah, I would pay the slight premium. But obviously I'm not in the market for a Bronco, so it's always easier said than done, right? But anyways, this one's available. I think this is awesome. I've never seen one of these before, and I doubt I will ever see another one again, because again, two-door Sasquatch base model hardtop. Like, this is literally the pinnacle of new Bronco-ness. So let me know what you guys think about it. Now that's gonna sum things up for our video on this base model Bronco. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Chemgarf Hyundai here in Utah for giving me some time with this Bronco. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see ya.